When you approach the vehicle with the key, I have it to where it'll unlock the doors when it senses the key. When you approach it, you just walk up. The exterior lights turn on here. Unlocks the door, and check it out. We have this Nissan illuminated little sign there. And we also have this lights here on the side of the vehicle. They don't extend too far out, but it is nice to have that little welcome light there in the center. Interior lights are now on, and then you have some safety lights there in the front and the back. Now when I hit the unlock button, it basically does the same thing. So the having that to where it unlocks the doors for you also turns on those lights as well. Now I have the headlight switch to the complete off position. I even have the parking brake engaged. And we still have these very bright LEDs here in the front, illuminated. They're basically the daytime running lights. They're just much brighter. There's also that Nissan badge, which is illuminated. Looks so awesome. But these could, I guess, possibly be mistaken for headlights. We don't have any tail lights on though. But having these turn on, and you just can't turn them off. You'd have the switch to the off position, parking brake on, everything. You just can't turn these off. Now I have the parking lights on, and basically the same deal as far as these white lights. We have the Nissan badge. We have these white lights that extend here to the side. They're the same brightness as before. But we now add this amber side marker when we turn on the parking lights, and this is here in the front. The tail lights are now on with the parking lights, and you can see the little side marker there, and they kind of wrap around the side of the vehicle, and man, are they impressive here. Nice sharp line. And let me turn the brightness down because they look very red to my eyes, but on the camera they look a little bit orangey, but that's just the way it's going to be, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, they're really nice, fairly bright LED taillights back here. The turn signal here in the front is the same white light that we saw before. It's just changed it to amber, and it's flashing, and it's basically the same brightness. It's pretty bright. So you can see it's amber in color, and I turned the brightness down on the camera so you can see it a little bit better, nice and sharp. But the white light completely goes away. It's not like the white light is shining between blinks or anything. Now you'll notice that there's no turn signal indicator here on the side mirror or anywhere else. So you have to go back here to the back, and we do have an amber turn signal here in the back, and it's nice and bright as well. And it's kind of in line with the tail light there, so it still maintains that cool look. Okay, so there's the parking lights, there's the headlights. The fog lights, you can see the difference there. It's mostly close to the vehicle. The fog lights are a little projector LED down here. Hopefully you can see that. But it's nice and sharp. Same thing with the headlights. We have multiple projector headlights here, and they're in these different housings. So you have these different lenses all grouped together, and so there's lots of them in there, kind of adding and filling in every patch of the road. And we're going to look at it going down the road. Now you notice is the outer three, and there's an inner one that's not illuminated yet. That will be part of the high beams. So yeah, really impressive so far looking at it. And the cutoff, it actually has an adjustable cutoff. So as I dip down here, the cutoff is about 3 feet, almost 3 feet off the ground. And we can adjust it up and down, and we'll look at that. It's really cool. This is handy, like say if you are, have a lot of cargo or something in the back and it's lifting the front up. And this has kind of a springy suspension, so sometimes when you're accelerating or going up and down the hills, the lights can go up basically because the front of the vehicle is going up. There's the low beams, there's the high beams. The fog lights turn off now. You can see it's much further from the vehicle, the high beams are. And now we have all these lights illuminated, including that inner one. So you can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4 main housings, and then there's little lenses within those. So it's a lot of little lights adding up to create the headlights. Really like the illuminated Nissan badge here in the center. That's a really nice touch. The cargo area lights are fairly decent. It does have these little accent lights here in the front that just kind of look pretty cool, I guess, on those little skid pads. But it has 2 LED lights, one on each side, so we can see here and there. So that way it kind of illuminates the area without, and it helps eliminate shadows. You notice that these pockets here are illuminated, and all there in the back, and even here in the center, I have this case, but it's not really causing a shadow issue because you have these lights kind of shining on this side, which is pretty cool. So I think they did a decent job here in the cargo area as far as lights. There's also backlit buttons here for lowering the power liftgate. The inside of the back door, there's no lights. There's no pedal lights or approach lights or anything here on the back door, but there is a little finder light for the power window, and then a just dark pocket and stuff like that. So no other lights other than that. But check it out. It has this ARIYA badge here that's illuminated in the sill plate. And the back seats, we do have light interior, which helps out a lot, but it does have decent interior lights. You can see one on each side of the sunroof, and illuminates the seats nicely. A little bit spilling over into the floorboard that we can see. And then there's some heated seat controls there that you can see. But the USB ports are not illuminated. Hopefully you can see those in the center. These, you can see those, but yeah, you can see pretty good in here with this interior light. Or these interior lights, there's 2 of them. Now that the vehicle's running, you notice that the lights are not on the side of the vehicle, which we already saw those, but I'm just curious as to why they don't have them illuminated right now. So the inside of the driver door, it has that accent light there, backlit buttons here for the controls, but the presets for the seats are not illuminated, and the pockets are not illuminated. Once again, we have the sill plate with the ARIYA illumination there. No lights in the floorboard other than that the little accent light there. Not so bright here in the front as far as the interior lights. There's just 2 here in the center, and they do a decent job, but you'll see some areas in which, even with the interior lights on, that we can't really see very good. The backup camera and the camera system itself works really good. I mean, you can see around the vehicle nicely, and hadn't had a problem at all at nighttime with it. I don't know if you can see this, but the buttons here on the door and the steering wheel and different places, the backlit buttons, they are not very bright. The only time you can actually, like, there's a lot of times during the day where I can't even see them. The only way you can make them really, really bright is to increase the brightness level here to the maximum, which it makes everything bright. See there? And they look really nice this way, especially here on the door. You can see them nicely. But the problem is you have everything bright, you know. It's like there's no like gradation here. So as I go down, the very first press on the button, it makes them almost disappear. So it's not much of a difference there as far as the brightness adjustment. It's either full blast or can barely see it. Have the door open, the interior lights are on, and so let me just go ahead and shut the door here so we can see what it looks like. Interior lights turn off, and we're left with the accent lighting here, as well as backlit buttons and a little strip of mood lighting, which is going to be more relevant while we're driving, which we'll see that. You see here on the door, backlit buttons. A little bit of mood lighting here. To the left of the steering column, there's some buttons there. Not super bright, but they're there. And then you have this mood lighting here in the center. Supposedly this is like a Japanese lantern, is what they're going for, which I think it looks really cool. Same thing with that door over there. Alright, so you see the backlit buttons here on the steering wheel. See, right now they're very bright, but as you start adjusting them, then it quickly dims. I have everything on full blast, otherwise it won't be as noticeable. The screens are fairly fine, you know, it's just these buttons here. Here is the shifter, and then you have these buttons here, and these are the buttons here and there that are actually on the surface. And the light shines through the surface right here. It's really cool. So let's go ahead and open up this compartment. And it does have a light in here, but it's not really positioned right. So like say this cover, it shines behind this cover. So I guess it shines a little bit here on this cover, but when you push the cover back, it's completely dark in there. So you can see nothing, but I actually have stuff in there. So I don't know what the deal is with that light position. Not really that good. I guess it's a little bit useful here. But anyways, that's the way that is. Glove compartment does have a somewhat decent light in there. Center console, underneath there's just a little compartment here and a battery charger, which you can't see because it's too dark. So maybe you can see, even with the interior lights on, you still can't see in here. So there's a compartment right in here that is dark, even with the interior lights on. All right, go ahead and turn those off again. Okay, so let me do the adjustment here, because right here, it's like as soon as the very first press, and you'll see it's still reading a high number there. The very first press brings it down quite a bit, and it doesn't affect the screen that much, but you see these buttons here in the center or on the doors, first press, and they're very dim. These are halfway decent, but here on the door, it's like there's certain times in which I can't even find the door lock controls because either it's during the day or it's kind of medium. It's just not really done well unless you have it full blast. Then you can see it, you know. But as soon as you press the dimmer, it just dims it so much to where now you can barely see it. And so even if you go below that, it's just gonna get even worse, you know. So maybe they'll be able to solve that problem with an update or something. All right, the rear view mirror is up here, but also you have the rear view camera, and it hadn't had any problem with that. You can see it nicely. And then there's buttons under here for the menu, and they are backlit, which is nice. Up here is some backlit buttons. Let me turn the brightness up on the camera because these aren't very bright. Let's go. Oh yeah, let me turn on the. Maybe that'll help. Yeah, that didn't really help with these at all. Okay, so you have your home link controls there that are backlit, sunroof controls, and then these are the lights that turn on, the interior lights. Turn them, and then you can change the brightness here of the interior lights. Or you can have them turn on with the door with that button in the center, and it has a little on light that you have that feature turned on. The visors have a mirror and a light. So you see that trash can down there, and put the high beams on it so you can see it. I'm going to adjust the cutoff for the low beam so you can see how it works. So right now I have it at the lowest portion, the lowest setting there. I'm going to lift it up. 1, 2, and 3. So let me do that again. We'll just zoom in a little bit more. Alright, there's the trash can. It's at the highest setting. Go down, down, and down. Now it's at the lowest setting. So you see it's not like a huge difference, but it does give you the ability to adjust that line depending on your needs. The vehicle does have automatic high beams, and hopefully they'll work okay. And I've been fairly impressed with the lighting of the vehicle so far. Now you notice I have the cutoff very low, and it's even lower on the oncoming lane traffic lane there. So with us going up and down these hills, these little hills right here, it doesn't seem like the cutoff is blinding any drivers. So it seems a little bit low. So let me just pull it up just well, it's on high beam now, but I'm gonna pull it up just one notch just to see if that makes it a little bit better. Okay, so I think that's good. And once again, you know, automatic high beams, they sometimes flash and stuff like that. So the main thing is it doesn't blind other people and flash other cars and, you know, stuff like that. I'm very critical of automatic high beams because they tend to not work very well. Okay. All right, so now we're in a dark road, on a dark road, and we can see all those little individual LED projectors are adding up and overlapping on the road nicely. There's not much patchiness. It seems a little bit brighter close to the vehicle, but look at that. I don't know if you can see that. You can see the trees. We can see the side of the road and quite a ways down the road as well. Even though there's quite a bit of light close to the vehicle, does a good job of projecting, I guess with the projectors, the light down the road nicely and on the side of the road as well. So with the high beams, we don't have the fog lights, so now we went to low beams, but the fog lights add a little bit of extra light there closer to the vehicle. But yeah, automatic high beams are working okay. And it overall looks pretty good. I'm impressed. Now there's an ambient light that's tied to the cruise control. It only turns on with the cruise control. So as I turn the cruise control on, you'll see this white light that goes across. Now it's turned green, but there's a white light that'll turn on, and when it turns green, that means it sees the lines on the road, and it's able to help you with the lane keep assist system. But it also has the ability to turn blue when the ProPilot assist system is activated on certain roads. So right now, it's not very bright light, but it is in a dark night like this, it does look pretty cool. It's a nice sharp line that goes across the door, across the dash, and just kind of looks really neat. I wish that was kind of an option to just leave it on all the time, but it's specifically tied to the ProPilot, which is the blue, the adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist system, which is green and white. So white would just be, it doesn't see the lines on the road, but the cruise control is active. But the green is you know, also here you see the here on the dash as well, little green there. Okay, so now we have the ProPilot Assist system activated, and now the ambient light is blue. So it went from green to blue. So that's the three different colors: white, green, and blue.